square big.
Right.
It's like
right.
square. It's very symmetrically big.
Right. Excellent. Some of our best shows are played in symmetrical stadiums and all the
I'm okay. I swear I'm okay. It's Bradley J. Backstage at Woodstock. Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine. How are you?
I'm great. Looking forward to rocking the kids tonight.
Yeah, you saw the thing out there, the monster.
Yeah.
Any impressions?
Well, it's a huge crowd, and it's a great thing for U.S. rock and rap fans to have this. But this sort of thing goes on in other places around the world pretty regularly. Like there's European summer festivals
right,
where the crowds are maybe not quite this large, but in theory it's the same. But it's, at least in name, it's the inheritor to the Woodstock
right.
Moniker, so it's going to be a pretty rocking day.
Do you think those European festivals have a different vibe, a different flavor?
Well, we actually just pulled up, so I haven't had the opportunity to taste the flavor completely here and savor it, but I'll let you know, absolutely.
Been a while since an album.
Yeah.
Got another one on the way.
Yeah.
And I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
What is the name?
It is as yet untitled, but we just finished up, and it's for all you fans of rock and rap music, it's gonna
bust you?
It's gonna bust you. It's gonna take you to a different place than you've been before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all that time having passed, a lot of experiences under the bridge.
Yeah.
You probably changed somewhat in what you wanted to do, your goals, your methodology.
Yeah.
And talk about that.
Well, I think that we've come together much more cohesively as a unit, and as friends, and as a band, and that's really reflected in the songs. I think that this record is head and shoulders above our other two efforts, and that this is it's just killing. And we're gonna play a couple new songs tonight at the show, and we just can't wait to unleash. New
instruments? Anybody learn a new instrument on that?
Heavens no. We're not that ambitious. We just try to figure out those same 12 notes and put them in different order that'll make the field bounce.
Right. We know how you reacted to Tipper Gore and her problem.
Yeah.
But when
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
But when somebody talks to you and verbally asks you about the profanity, or maybe has a problem with it, what do you tell them?
Well, it doesn't happen that often, to be quite honest with you. You can simply refer them to the Constitution of the United States of America right off, and freedom of speech and to express yourself, whether it's in an interview or whether it's on a CD, in any way that you so choose. So that to me is such a anyone who has a problem with what bands say on record, or people say in movies, or what people say in interviews, it's really like a fascist position that's it's so clearly against mainstream American politics. So.
Would you have there be no censorship at all?
I don't see why there should be. I mean, why? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking.
Yeah.
I do think it's kind of ridiculous that they censor, because that is the very thing that gives the words the power.
Right.
If they didn't anymore,
right,
then the words would lose their power. It's almost like the kid smoking cigarettes out behind the garage. Father catches him, makes him smoke a million cigarettes. It's like, I don't need to do that anymore.
But it's also rock music. It is not. This is not the first generation where young people's music has been scapegoated for the ills of society.
Right.
It was horrific and ironic that President Clinton, in the middle of bombing hospitals and civilian buses in Yugoslavia, was condemning the epidemic of violence in movies and video games here in the United States. Clearly, the most violent role models are in Washington, not on screen. I mean, the evidence is clear in places like Scandinavia, Japan, where these video games and these bands are absolutely as popular. There's much lower levels of violence, so it has nothing to do with rock or rap music that incites.
What does it have to do with? Any clue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in part, it has to do with a growing inequality between rich and poor in this country, and the gap continues to widen, and frustrations on both ends of it become more pronounced. It also has to do with a proliferation of firearms. But it's much easier for politicians to point the finger at a Marilyn Manson or at somebody like that, KMFDM, a band like that, than it is to take responsibility for one, for being afraid of the National Rifle Association, or two, dealing with the underlying issues of inequality in the United States, which they don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Marilyn Manson just dresses up funny and sings in kind of a scary voice. President Clinton kills civilians in Yugoslavia and Sudan, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Can you talk about the balance between the message and the entertainment? I mean, you can go too far and turn everybody off, and they just diss you.
Yeah.
You want to entertain. You want to slide a little bit of lesson in there.
Yeah.
How do you find that balance?
There's no that's not premeditated. I mean, we play rock music that gets us off, and Zach has lyrics that come from his heart and that speak to issues that are important to him and to us. It's not that kind of prefabricated. It happens to come out in a way that sounds like Rage Against the Machine, and fortunately, people have responded to it, and we'll see tonight how that goes. But
we were speaking earlier before the mics were turned on about Shining Path, something you were into, and I've been reading some about it, but I'd like to get between the lines if I could and have you. You say it's a dead issue, but even so, historically, if it's a dead issue, let me know about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the Shining Path is Sendero Luminoso, a revolutionary group, a Maoist revolutionary group in Peru, which is fighting for the overthrow of the U.S.-backed repressive fascist dictatorship there. And the first thing to remember, and it's very easy, for you and us sitting here in a tent at Woodstock, to point a finger, at people who have been, subjugated and oppressed for 500 years. But our own country was born of revolution. It was your England's, that was pointing that same finger at our founding fathers, who said that they were excessively violent. Well, what they were trying to do was win their freedom and to try to make a path for themselves, to have a life of dignity, and humanity, when they've had a boot on their necks for centuries. And it's really hypocritical for rich Americans to look down at the struggles of some third world people just because they disagree with some of their methods. Well, when if you and I had the man's boot on our neck for 500 years, we might respond in a violent way too. So I think it's understandable.
Y2K. The mysticism, the prophecy and stuff. I know it's not a main theme with you, but just guys talking. What do you think? Do you think there's anything to this end of the world business?
No,
not at all. It's just
I don't know too much about the mysticism and the prophecy.
Well, there are all these prophecies, the world ending. Yeah. Don't you think it's just because it's a round number?
Yeah, I don't put too much stock in that. Too much stock.
At this point in your career, where does the pressure come from? I mean, you must have pressure, but it's probably a different pressure than when you started.
Pressure comes from we've had as a foursome. We've had about 3 hours of rehearsal for the show tonight. That's where some of the pressure comes from.
Thank you very much. Tom Morello at Woodstock, going to perform tonight. Going to kick some ass. We're going out there to hang and watch you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Rock those kids.
Absolutely.
Live from Woodstock. It's Bradley J. Thank you. Awesome, Tom.
Pleasure, sir.
You're the man.
Thank you very much.
Anytime you stop by, I don't know. You probably never get a chance to come by Boston anymore, but please stop by anytime.
Not enough. Last time I was there, I got on the tee, and I haven't on the tee in many years.
Gentlemen, can I get 2 pictures?
Thank you.